Hi everyone, you're welcome to Ichibu Outbox. I would like to thank everyone that's been subscribing, liking, disliking, and commenting. But I also like to not only thank you, but also ask you to now help me and share. If you can do that, I really appreciate that, because I want the message from my outbox to reach everyone around the world, especially in the continent of Africa. And so thanks very much for those that have subscribed. On this episode, I'll ask the big question: what journals or publishers are predatory? Yeah. Let's first have a look at what predatory journals or publishers do. Predatory journals are considered to be exploitative academic publications that operate under the open access model but fail to meet editorial quality standards and bypass meaningful peer review. This is what I'm getting from Microsoft Bing, Capilots to be specific. What does predatory journal or predatory publication mean? I think it's partly what's been mentioned. For me, it's more about the quality of the standard. But I do not think that journals are predatory because they are open access. I mean, it's good for us to have open access publications, because the more people that read research work, the more we push the boundaries of knowledge beyond, the little places where they are, and for it to reach everyone. And the more we widen the horizon of knowledge sharing and knowledge building. And so as an academic, I think that open access should be happening and should stay with us. So that's not my definition of what constitutes predatory. To me, what constitutes predatory would be around not following the process, the peer-reviewed process, perhaps in a strict manner, and not taking the opportunity of applying that process to build quality outputs in terms of publications. And so, with that said, I know people might have their own definitions, but that's what I think. But there's another aspect of it that sometimes is not completely within our control. Obviously, publishers have brands, publishers have reputations, and so most publishers that are considered predatory sort of lack a certain level of reputation, and that can also rub off on those who publish in those using those outfits. And so the big question in the office, I've come across colleagues who ask the question: is IGI Global a predatory publisher? Is MDPI a predatory publisher? Okay, let's just keep it to these two: the IGI Global and MDPI journals. MDPI journals are strictly open access, and because they are open access, you have to pay open access charges in order to have your work be kept open to the rest of the world. And to some people, this approach, I've met people who think because of its openness in terms of access, that's what makes it predatory. I've also met people who argue that the quality of the process is not so rigorous enough. What I have to say about this is that, first and foremost, as far as I know some of these journals, in MDPI specifically, I'm speaking about the MDPI. Normally, you would be asked to pay open access fees only after your paper has been accepted. Normally. And the MDPI argue that the open access fees also is part of why they are able to do very quick, provide very quick reviews and access to publication. So just to rub it off and not waste too much time on that, with the MDPI, my experience is that when you talk about MDPI journals, not all journals in MDPI have the same quality. Not all journals in MDPI have the same reputation. The journal, particularly where I have published in MDPI, include publications, land, sustainability, resources, I think 2 or 3 others, administrative sciences, 2 or 3 others. And the process, and look, and I can tell you this, I've been publishing with them as far back as 20, I'll say maybe my first paper was 2013, one of these journals, 2013, 2014. What I've seen is a growth, a progress in terms of demand for rigor, a progress in terms of, rigor in terms of the writing, the proofing, and the process as well. I have also seen a progress in increments in the charges being demanded. And at the earlier stage, I would think that some of these journals, perhaps had to start off with lower quality, in comparison to what it is today, lower quality submissions. But my experience also shows that even where I have worked with journals that just started, most journals always begin with publications, earlier publications that are not always great in quality in comparison to the submissions they later, accept and reject 5-6 years after the start of business. And so on that basis, I would say that some of these journals are not necessarily predatory. What's the basis? They go through the same process. But yes, there are people who are used to publishing in maybe higher quality journals, and so whatever does not fall within the standard they are used to now becomes predatory. Hey, but you tell me, all of you who publish in great areas today, when I check your list of publications, definitely I would see some that are not published in the sort of journals of your today's standard. Possibly because there's always, even at the individual level, progress in terms of our standard. And so I had to just put it out there today because Few moments ago, I had this discussion with a colleague as to whether NDPI journals are predatory journals. My response is, I don't know, but the NDPI journals I publish in are not predatory, and I really doubt it. But obviously, there are different approaches to the review process, different approaches to, come on, you NDPI people, you're so pushy. That's another thing. You are really, really pushy. I mean, how does one just, you send in a paper at 12 in the midnight, you go to bed, you wake up just 5 hours of sleep. You're back up at 5 a.m. and you have 5 emails demanding you have to do this and do that, and everything is quick. Maybe that's what's pissing some people off. You know, the demand to do things in highly, accelerated ways that some journals do not, follow. Maybe we want it to be quick, but come on, when it's too quick, what can, becomes somehow. So that's for MDPI. Now for IGI Global, those ones are also similar. But man, IGI, you're gonna publish with these people, and the next thing you see the same caption or the same title of your work in various formats, or rather various compilations, without your express permission. Did I say that? Don't hold me on that. Allegedly, I think normally when we sign contracts to publish with many of these journals, those things they do are in those contracts. Maybe people should start reading their contracts before submission. But I think the IGI Global is also a little into the quickie, fast way of doing things. And I have seen quality works there. Oh, by the way, even the journals that we all say are the best in the world, sometimes you do get some not so good outputs from them. So, but here we're just talking about what constitutes predatory. So on the definition that predatory journals are exploitative academic publications, one needs to know what it means to be exploitative. Is it the money or is it the time? Because I would assume that any academic that is able to be pushed hard to produce results would gain publication. Remember, publish or perish. To avoid publish or perish, many of us are willing to subject ourselves to quick reviews, but exploitative, that's quite interesting. I don't know what that means in the context of publication. Is it paying money? Because there are, myriads of journals out there where you do not need money to publish, and obviously you don't get open access by not paying money for that. But I think IGI Global as a publisher has done, I've read some great works from their journals. I have book chapters. I have done about 2 book chapters in IGI Global Books, and I've done a foreword as well. And I think it's the process, the quick way of doing things that sometimes make people be like, So it's up to you to decide, but all these alleged accusations of certain publishers being predatory and others not being, I think it's left for individuals to decide. However, there are predatory journals. They are predatory publishers. You search on the web, you will see some of them These people just write you and tell you need to do that and do that and do that, and they give you a paper in one day. You submit any trash, they publish it, and then they charge you for it. That's what I call predatory. So for now, I think that MDPI and IGI, to me, I don't consider them to be predatory, but you know, that's based on my experience. So I leave it up to you to share your experience someday. Or you can actually share it right away as you're watching this video. Just get down to the comment section and tell me what is your experience with MDPI journals, your experience with IGI Global journals. You know, just share it. I've given you mine. Thank you. Ciao.